TV27 Digital Now Center. This is Beyond the Forecast with your most accurate local meteorologists.
Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Brett Thacker here alongside Dan Tomaso. And this is one of those days, Dan, that we just kind of want to get the word out. We're not overly concerned about any major problems. But for those of you that maybe haven't been paying attention, because it's been pretty quiet here, we do expect kind of a dark and stormy night on the way, and the winds are going to be the big factor. Also, it's like spring outside right now.
It's unbelievable. We just came out here, Brett, and it's 60 degrees just outside these windows. It doesn't, when we get to May, June, and July, 60 doesn't seem like a big deal. But in February,
and when we've had temperatures in the teens in the morning,
yes,
it feels great outside.
And I woke up, it was 45 out. It feels like we're turning the corner. It's all teas, mind you, because we're not going to stay this warm.
It is.
This is kind of March-ish. Like March goes through these big fluctuations.
Well, this is a springtime front that's coming through here tonight, because what it's going to do is deliver us some rain. We've got the warmth out ahead of it, and then another shot of colder air behind it. And we often say March comes in like a lion with very windy weather. Well, you're right. This is a March type of setup, a very spring type of setup. So let's get into it, Dan, and talk about several things. The first is we've got some clouds. We've got the wind already. Look at the camera shaking in Camp Hill. And we have a little bit of sun that has really helped to warm temperatures up. Let's go to Marysville now, because, again, the sun is out. It's nice. But clearly, too, we can see that clouds are increasing.
Yeah, and we're going to see that thickening up throughout the day. It almost kind of looks like a thunderstormy type day out there based on the way the color of the clouds are. And the reason why we're seeing the darker skies, those are water-loaded clouds. And you mentioned that there is some rain beginning to move in. Here's Lewistown right now. We are seeing that rain pushing through, but no wind yet. The flag's still there in Monument Square.
And I mentioned that this morning, that I thought most of our viewing area would see showers develop this afternoon, but some of the high-res guidance this morning did show some showers right around lunchtime for our northwestern counties. They're going to get clipped there. You can see the majority of the rain still out in Pittsburgh, but I will say this is moving pretty fast, so I would not be surprised if even by mid-afternoon we start to see a steady rain develop. Now, look at that coming in here. A good, solid rain out toward Pittsburgh and up near Du Bois right now.
All rain, no wintry mix, well too warm in the atmosphere to see any type of wintry mix. And, again, the proof is in the numbers, and we are on the right side of things right now if you want some big-time warmth.
Look at that, 60 degrees already in Harrisburg and York. I went 62 today, which was above a lot of the models, but it may not be warm enough. And, in fact, the record high today is 67 degrees.
Can we do it?
I thought I put that almanac in there. Let's advance to the next graphic and see.
Here we go.
There it is. So 67 back in 2011, not that long ago. 11 years ago, and we hit 49 yesterday, just shy of that 50-degree mark we called for. But today I could certainly see us getting warmer than the forecast, just because of strong southerly flow, strong warm advection. Look at the change.
Yeah, the last 2 days, the changes have been remarkable. I know you showed this during the noon yesterday, and I applauded in the studio because Pittsburgh saw a 30-degree temperature change in 24 hours.
Today it's our turn.
Yeah, that's the fun part about this time of the year. You get these big changes. Nothing's really consistent at this time of the year. And boom, right there, 21 to 22 degrees. Harrisburg and Lancaster, a big change. And you mentioned the winds out of the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. A little bit weaker where it's raining, so a little more stable underneath that rain.
Seems like it. But I do expect the winds to pick up really this evening and tonight. That is going to be the case. Now, this is an elongated front. I mean, one of these fronts, we just had one the other week. That was the one where we thought we would get some ice with it. Didn't end up being that big of a deal. We had a little bit, especially in northern areas. But this one, same setup from Maine all the way down into Louisiana. There will be some severe weather today along that front in the deep south. For us, periods of rain, especially this afternoon and tonight as this thing evolves. It's not going to linger, though. It'll be out of here by early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so again, that mild air clashing in with the colder air. This is a typical spring setup, and unfortunately it does mean severe weather for the Dixie area, the southern part of the United States on the Gulf Coast, whether that's Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee.
And then turning colder and windy. And the winds aren't going anywhere, by the way. They're going to stick around into the weekend. But, Dan, this is what we talk about when we talk about a temperature gradient. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so, I mean, this is what drives weather, folks, when it comes down to it. Fred Godomsky always used to say, warm and cold, up and down. So your warm and cold air are kind of clashing. That leads to a lot of upward movement. That leads to rain, in some cases snow out toward the Midwest. But again, you need that temperature difference to drive weather patterns.
And especially the wind. I mean,
yes.
62 today in Harrisburg. Go back, though. Just go back once. I want to point out that's a 30-degree difference between Chicago and Harrisburg. And look at Memphis, 73. Topeka, with some snow earlier today, 28 degrees.
Let me see if I can do something here.
It's a big, big difference. Yeah.
I'm going to try to Do this on the fly. I don't think it's going to. Oh, wait a minute. I see it now. Let's see the distance here. Just about 400 miles separate Topeka and Memphis. That's a huge temperature gradient.
It is impressive. It is impressive. So that's part of the reason why it's going to be windy here. And you mentioned the severe weather. I just wanted to point that out, too, that parts of Alabama, Mississippi, the Tennessee Valley, the orange there, the elevated risk, could be in for some tornadoes today. An active day, even in parts of Kentucky, as far north as Kentucky, could get some severe thunderstorms. And, Dan, quite frankly, well, we're not at any type of severe risk, and I don't think we are. This is a great point to make. We don't need to be under any type of severe risk or have severe thunderstorms to get wind damage. There could be some wind damage tonight. The winds are going to be fierce. There could be some isolated power outages if a tree falls the right way.
I'll be watching my neighborhood. It always seems to happen.
We're not talking about any widespread issues, but power outages, wind damage tonight without any severe weather, mind you. And, again, I want to point out, even around here, wouldn't be surprised if we saw a rumble of thunder overnight.
And again, it's that temperature change causing the difference. Now, here's the good news. We don't see a dramatic drop-off for very long on the forecast. So, yes, we're talking about it's going to get colder, but by and large, we stay near average. We're just going to drop down from these near record levels.
Right. We'll be about 20 degrees colder tomorrow. That's a big drop. It's not Arctic air, though.
Right. Correct.
Yep.
So let's time everything out. And you were mentioning this earlier, that some of this rain comes in earlier for our northwestern counties as they get clipped, but the majority of us later this evening.
And I think by the evening commute, most of us see some rain, and then it will become steady and heavy at times through the rest of the evening into the overnight. And I think the overnight is where we start to see it really be steady. But look, as we head into after midnight, see that little line? That's where I'm concerned about thunder during that pre-dawn hours, right as the front moves through.
Yeah, and then tomorrow it's windy. There may be some snow showers over the mountains, but actually today, today's the warmest day, obviously, but tomorrow could bring more sunshine in general.
I think it will tomorrow. Yep. And then on Saturday, we have a clipper pushing to our north. I think there could be a flurry or two Saturday morning now. Some of that energy wants to make it far enough south. And with the winds are going to stay up on Saturday. We'll get into that in a minute. The rain's not a big deal here.
I think up again, didn't it?
Yeah, I think the models are overdoing it. I think maybe there could be an inch with some downpours tonight. I think right around a half inch of rain. It's not going to be an issue.
And when you're playing with convection, so again, that intense upward movement in the atmosphere, you can get some areas that dump a little bit harder than others.
And let's make no mistake, the front did have some moisture with it. We just saw it. So, but again, whether you get a half inch or an inch, not a big deal. The winds are going to be a big deal. As we move into tonight, 20 to 30 mile an hour winds are possible. And, Dan, we've seen this too, convective wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. We are under a wind advisory through tomorrow morning. Look at these winds. And they stay healthy through the night. And then watch what happens here tomorrow.
It's impressive.
It's impressive, and they don't go anywhere. Sometimes, again, the modeling overdoes the wind, but the reality of it is, even if it's not a 20-mile-an-hour wind the entire time, you're going to notice the breeze tonight. Tonight could bring some wind gusts that knock a few trees down, and then tomorrow too. And let this play out, Dan. As that clipper comes through, look at Saturday now. I'm impressed.
It's the consistency of it, and I think that's the problem. That even though it's not the strongest gust we've seen in this area, it's just consistently blowing hard out of the northwest.
It's a nuisance.
Yeah, more of a nuisance, more of a problem if you try to be outside. So there is a wind advisory through tonight, folks. And again, there could be some gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour, and this time of the year that can take some things down.
I warned everybody on the morning show this morning that, again, I think that we could be talking about a sleepless night because it's going to be tough.
All night long.
I put this on there earlier. You can find me at meteorologist Brett Thackara. Dan is at meteorologist Dan Tomaso. Twitter and Instagram, you know where to find us. But you're going to be kind of taking over for the afternoon, watching this front materialize. And folks know where to find you on social media.
Yep. At Doppler Dan on Twitter, as you mentioned, Facebook at meteorologist Dan Tomaso. Maybe throw something on Instagram. I don't give that enough love, but that's
give it some love,
well.
Dano.
Yeah,
give it some love.
Now, this is going back to our previous point about the next couple of days. Yes, it gets colder, but highs are still in the low 40s. As we keep going forward into February, the baseline temperature, if you will, continues to rise. So even by the end of the month, early March, we're talking about numbers near 50 degrees. Not great for snow lovers.
No.
But when we talk about cool downs or getting colder, that's what we're starting to focus more on, 40s during the day.
Yep, 100%. So a 20-degree drop, and the winds stick around over the next 3 days. But I think tonight's going to be the roughest.
Yeah, I definitely think so, too. So you've been all over this, Brett, all morning long. Thank you for coming out and joining me here at the Digital Now Center.
Thank you, Dan. Always good to catch up and always good to get the word out about these situations. Certainly not the most dire, but it is one that needs attention, and we'll be talking about it the rest of the day.
Sounds good. I know you'll be all over it again here coming up at noon. See you then.